Welcome to Executive Warrior Academy Biohack Sleep Modules. So we're going through the sleep playbook, Biohack Sleep Playbook, step by step, play 1, play 2, play 3, play 4, and we're getting to some cool, really interesting stuff. We're talking about gadgets and tools and this is going to be, if you really kind of into biohacking, I think this module is especially for you. The other ones we've covered about hacking your circadian rhythm, hacking your sleep to be able to sleep throughout the night, hacking your mind. We've covered quite a bit. If you haven't seen those, go through them. They're important. They go in layers, right? I build them up. It's a deliberate, conscious design and structure. And if you follow this structure, this is how you're going to create the best sleep ever. So you can wake up feeling pumped, energized, and motivated. All right, that's enough about that. What are we going to cover today, Steve? Let me switch over to our slide. Sound. We're going to talk about biohacking your mind or your brain using sound. We're going to talk about soundscape. We're going to talk about binaural beats, sleep space app, hypnosis, even some neuro-linguistic programming things. Fantastic, right? You're looking forward to it. I hope so. I certainly am, because this is the nerdy stuff in my mind. But look, if you're not nerdy like me, it's okay. I'll make it simple for you to understand. We'll talk about brain hacking principles, how we can manipulate our senses to really get the effect we want. We can control our mind state. We're not at the mercy of what is there. We can change it, right? That's a principle of biohacking, is about changing things to reach your goal. Manipulate things, get control. We're going to talk about how you can manipulate your hearing specifically for sleep, which is our playbook topic. Audio methods of brain programming. We're going to share some devices and tools and hacks that you can use to hack your sleep, as well as action. Right? A plan without action, a plan without implementation is forever a plan. You're not going to achieve the outcome. So, very important. Brain hacking principles. That's covered the first bit. The basics of brain hacking. It's about manipulating the senses. So, now you have 5 main categories of senses. You have sight, touch, smell, taste, and of course, hearing. That's a approximate, because there are, in human physiology, there's other senses that we don't generally talk about, like proprioception. Right? Proprioception is sensing where you are in space. You have oxygen sensors in your arteries. You have kinesthetic sensors for detecting muscle and tendon stretching. So you have all kinds of sensors that's beyond these 5 fundamental senses, but I think it gives you a good understanding that we do have senses. Now, your body adjusts its function based on what it senses. So you like, for example, if you have a air conditioner, the air conditioner would turn up or turn down to achieve the temperature you set for it. Based on the sensor, it senses the current temperature versus where you want it to be, and you make adjustment. So it's a little bit like controlling the temperature in the shower. You kind of turn up or down, cold or hot, to get the effect you want. And that's really the essence of biohacking. It's a lot about that. And we've been hacking our sleep all along by manipulating the senses. We're already doing this as part of this module. Remember, the first step to hacking your circadian rhythm is about using light, having a lot of light, and that's a manipulation of sight. That's how you program your brain for energy, to say, hey, it's time to energize, not to go to bed, right? Dark, we use darkness for rest. What about taste? Eat. When we eat, we activate. When we eat, we're sending signals to say it's during the day. We have food. We have a sense of abundance. There are energy coming in. When we don't eat, we're sending signals to our body to rest, right? So we don't eat That's how you send signals to your body. Touch. When you strike your body really, really hard, you create tension, right? Or it could be, which is different to soft touch or massage, which creates relaxation, right? Remember, like these are all inputs that's creating different response. So your body adjusts its function based on all this input, what it senses around the environment. And the principle of biohacking is really about manipulation. Manipulation of these senses to create the desired effect, right? Light and dark to help you program your brain, getting the right circadian rhythm for energy during the day and for sleep at night. That is a very important element for which you can use to biohack your performance. And today we're going to talk specifically about hearing, to manipulate your brain specifically to help you rest. Now, the things that you don't know about biohacking for sleep and manipulating the hearing is you need to understand the frequency that your brain operates. There are some dominant key frequencies. We're not saying that your brain only operates using this frequency. It's usually a mixture. What we're talking about is what is the dominant frequency. So beta frequency is pretty fast. It's strongly engaged. It's really a concentrated mind, like when you're doing mathematics. Or it can be when you're anxious. It's about 13 to 18 hertz, right? That's the brain frequency that's operating at. Now, when you go to alpha, it slows down. It's slower and it's larger. The amplitude is actually larger. It's relaxed. It's when you're resting, when you're meditating, you're really at an alpha state. Your mind is open. It's a flow state. It's where your mind is very good for creative thoughts. It's open. And whereas beta is more judgment, it's more focus. You want to use both, right? It's not one is better than other depending on what you're trying to do. If you're hacking your mind for creativity, an alpha state is more helpful, whereas a beta state constricts your thought. It constricts your ideas and prevents innovation. But then if it's about just doing hard maths, right and wrong and logics, well, beta is your preferred. And so you want the right mental state or the right frequency for what is it that you're trying to achieve. Then we have theta, which is this is where true, like real kind of creativity happens, where things randomly come up. When you daydream on autopilot, they taking a shower. Often people sometimes get into theta state. When you're relaxing really, really deeply, meditation, it's really creativity. And also when you're in REM sleep, you dream, you have dreaming state. Again, this is even slower and amplitude tend to be a little bit higher again. And then finally, you have delta, which is the slowest, it's the highest amplitude. You're in deep sleep. It's like 1 to 3 hertz. Very slow, very high amplitude. And what's really interesting is at this state, this is where your hormones, your human growth hormone is released. And provided you tweak your exercise routine right during the day, you can actually get 200 to 300% increase in human growth hormone if you do your exercise right. If you warm up properly, if you cool down fast, you don't consume sugary drinks, and you have this delta brain wave. And that's a great way if you're interested in anti-aging and health. This is something that you want to know, that delta wave is an important part of your sleep and your brain function. And then you have gamma, which is super fast but very shallow. It's for when you're highly creative, you get into this flow state of things, when things just magically happen, you lose track of time. Gamma state is a good state to get your brain operating frequency into. Now that you understand the brain frequency, let me ask you a question. Which one of this do you think is good for getting to sleep? Is a beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma? Which one do you think? Let me know. Put it in chat. Okay? We talk about delta in deep sleep. We talk about alpha, right? They're all important for sleep, with the exception maybe alpha, and so maybe beta and gamma. Okay, so but they're all kind of important for sleep, because you gotta understand this is how your brain works when you go to sleep, is that you're generally starting a beta state when you're awake, but you gotta transition into alpha, and then eventually transition into theta and delta, right? It goes in a cycle, and it's generally a 90-minute cycle. Your brain go through not all the way to beta, because then you're awake, but alpha, theta, delta, it goes in 90-minute cycle, and you probably do about 6, 7 of these cycles, 5, 6, 7, depending on your sleep architecture. That's what we're talking about in terms of sleep architecture, is this kind of sequence going through. So when you manipulate your brain using sound, what you're trying to do is use sound as a way to manipulate this and help you transition into each of these state in stages, right? So you want to get into, play a sequence of sound to get into alpha, then you go into theta, and then eventually go into delta. So a good sound program of manipulating your brainwave will go and transition into 90-minute loops, right? So every 90 minutes it goes through this, and if it's a really good set of program, you'll help your brain get into operating the right frequency fast, but then it varies the duration based on whether you're in the beginning of the stage, a sleep cycle, or you're just about to wake, close towards dawn. There are some more advanced devices that actually literally measure your brainwave and place different sound for different stage of sleep, and that's something I'll talk a little bit. There's an app that you can potentially look at to help you do that. But that's in essence what using sound to hack your brain is like. But how do we actually practically do it, right? This is the science on how it works. How do we do it? Different methods, right, of programming your brain. What can we do? Okay, so we talked about this cycle. You can use noise generators. There's different noise generators. There's white, pink noise, brown noise, red noise. If you don't know what they are, I'm going to share that with you. Okay, you can use binaural beats, which can actually literally program your brain through entrainment. I'll talk about that in a little bit later, but you entrain your brain to go through beta, alpha, theta, delta, and then alpha, theta, delta based through the different brainwave. And then there's Sleep Space, which is an app that literally play different sounds based on the stage of sleep that it senses you at. That's another thing I'll talk about shortly. Okay, noise generators. What the heck are they? I thought noise is bad. What's interesting is sound can trigger different brainwave, and there's some sound that make you agitated. Like, I don't know if you got. I hope you're old to remember, enough to remember chalkboards. Nails going through chalkboards or blackboards. Well, that is an agitating sound, but there are sound that creates a sense of peace, and it's actually very helpful for sleep. So some people like the sound of rain or falling water or streams. That's their example of different sounds or noise, you can call them, that helps program your brain for sleep. And similar to the way that white light contain all the waves of visible spectrum at a different intensity, white noise, right, that's the first noise generator. It contains all the frequencies that's audible to human ear, and that's why we call it white noise. So if you get a sound generator that produces all frequency all equally at the same intensity, that is what a white noise generator does. What about the other frequency, the pink noise. So pink noise is like white noise, but it's just got reduced higher frequencies. Okay, so that is just a reduced set of frequencies. And brown and red noise lowers the higher frequencies even further. So it's a little bit rougher than pink noise and resemble the roar of a river current or strong wind. Now, all these different type of noises are just different set of frequency. Whether you got all the frequencies or less of them, what will work for you, it depends on you. What it does trigger for some people is this alpha state, and then that is a beginning of transitioning to sleep. So for some people, this is a great way for you to generate this sense of tuning out and just getting into a state of sleep. There's also another type of noise called black noise. It's basically no noise, and that means complete silence. And this is where you might, if you live in a noisy environment, that might help. So where do you find this? Where is this useful? It's great for blacking out background noise, whether it's snoring, barking, dog barking, bird noise. If you're in a noisy environment, this is a great way to use some of these noise generators to help you block out those noise, which helps trigger, but then also help trigger this alpha and theta brain state to accelerate your transition to sleep. There are some warning. If you have babies and children, and please do not, I'm not here to make you feel guilty, but this is something that I have to warn people. Babies are very sensitive to frequency, and when they hear a frequency they haven't heard before, it literally, the brain switches. Go, oh, I have not heard that before. What is that? And this is how they learn language. This is how they pick up the nuance in tonality, in voices, in different voices and different emotions. Because white noise and noise generators creates all kinds of frequency all the time. If you try to use that to put them to babies to sleep, what happens is the brain is really good at understanding what is there all the time and choose to ignore it. So literally you impair the brain development of your baby because you're basically training the brain to ignore all frequencies, right? Whereas typically if the baby do not have that white noise generator of all frequency all the time, when they hear something it hasn't heard before, it actually perks up to learn and train the brain onto it. But white noise just basically blow all that and just say, okay, well, this is going to happen all the time, just ignore it. Okay? And that is something, a bit of warning about white noise generator. It can negatively affect the language development in babies and in children. You need to experiment what's going to work for you, whether it's white, pink, brown, or black or noise. Each to its own. Which one works better for you? But they are cool devices to try. Okay, white noise. I've already, these are some examples, right? Fan, hissing radiator, humming air condenser, pink, right? This is a little bit of what I've just said, what they are. It can be soothing, the more soothing than white, and it can actually improve memory and deep sleep if you play this at a specific sleep stage, which is what I will talk to you about, the sleep app. Okay, brown red noise, right? A bit rougher. It's more like roaring, like strong waterfalls and thunder. So which one do you like? Try it, let us know. Noise generators, now you can get dedicated noise generators like that. There's always pros and cons with these things. It's more expensive, but then it's powered on all the time. You've got sufficient volume to really fill the room if you live in a noisy environment. The cons, of course, it's cost and it's really a fixed feature set of what it provides. Whatever it comes with, that's what you've got. You can get a phone and tablet app. It's configurable. You can create all kinds of noise that you want. You probably already have one, right? So, but in limited volume, of course, you can put in a Bluetooth speaker to amp up the volume, but it's a little bit less convenient because you can't just switch on and go. You have to fiddle with your app. And of course, if it's black noise you want to create, get some earplugs, muffs. There's some really comfortable ones that you can use, and super cheap. And it's really good to try and experience that because we're so used to having noise around us. It's actually quite a interesting feeling when you're just in a room without noise. It really calming for some people. Okay, so that's noise generators. Next, I want to talk about binaural beats. What the heck is that? So it's about entrainment. It plays different frequency in your left and right ear, and the difference actually creates that frequency we talk about. You remember the beta, alpha, theta, delta? They're different frequency, right? So at delta, you're 1 to 4 hertz, which is very slow brainwave. And when you play that signal on a difference in frequency between left and right, what your brain does, it literally overlay the two signals. So if it's 100 hertz and 10 hertz, it overlays and just think, well, that's the difference of 90 hertz. Okay, so it overlays that signal and it kind of it's like Pied Piper, right? It's following the Pied Piper, and the brain just starts to follow, and we call that entrainment. You can entrain to the right frequency in your brain to help you sleep. It really only works if you've got stereo headphones, right? So I've used sleep phones in a wide version, especially because that wire means that I'm not having electromagnetic radiation on my head like a Bluetooth, and it's a very comfortable, easy to use headset that then allows me to use binaural beats, and it's one of the first things that literally doubled my deep sleep. When I first started, I was getting 20 minutes, 30 minutes of deep sleep, nowhere near enough. This is one thing that doubled my deep sleep. It's first time I saw something that literally had a big impact that's visible, right? It's visible in the metrics. And in terms of what to play the sound, what kind of binaural beat, there's a free app, and I'm sure you can find that in App Store, binaural beat therapy. It's been around for decades, right? And it works. It's very cheap to try. There's no risk. It's really just playing sounds in your ears, and that's something I do highly recommend you trying, just because of the low risk nature. It's ancient. Like this concept of binaural beat was discovered in 1839 actually by Henrik Wilhelm Dove, and it got a lot more awareness in the 20th century because people are starting to discover the benefit it can provide, and highly recommend you try it to help you transition to good quality sleep. Last thing I want to talk about is the app, Sleep Space app, right? So we talk about binaural beats work by stimulating left and right ears using two slight different frequencies, and when you play the right frequency at the right stage of sleep, you actually improve the sleep by a significant amount, because you're actually literally simulating, leading the brain in a way that creates better quality sleep. You can use it for sleep monitoring. It uses that data to help play the right noise, right? So it monitors your sleep and it creates the right pink noise generation specifically to increase deep sleep. It can enhance memory consolidation, and the Android version does not currently support airplane mode, and this may change. And this is the app that you can download. There is a paid subscription. I don't get anything for recommending the app. Okay, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. But this is the innovation. This is the really cool, innovative stuff that's fascinating, because now we're taking data rather than just monitoring sleep. We're literally taking that data and then we're using it to improve sleep. So it's not just monitoring, it's actually actively increase the amount of deep sleep by playing pink noise at a specific period of your sleep cycle, right? And this is the future. This is the future of biohacking, is really taking all this data, these metrics that we have on our body, right? Our rings, our Fitbit, and we use this to literally control the senses, or what's around us, what's in us, to improve our health and improve our ability to achieve. In this case, we're improving our sleep. Okay. Whoa, that was a lot to cover, but then time to take action. What are you looking to try? There's a whole bunch of stuff. We talk about pink round noise, black noise, white noise, black noise, all kinds of noises. We talk about binaural beats, sleep space, all kinds of things that will hack your brain. Also keen to learn, what did you learn? Like, what I want to hear from you. What did you learn? What questions you have? Post it in the community. Let us know what you're going to try and experiment. And as always, we're here to build each other up. Share your experiences. What did you notice that has improved? Let us know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So that is all from me for today's module. There's a lot of things we covered. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'll catch you next module in Biohacking Sleep series. Take care. God bless.